Lindy Lewis, a spirited young woman, keeps a secret behind her smile. She suffers from intermittent explosive disorder, a condition that turns her into a storm of anger in an instant. Her body is flooded with cortisol, a stress hormone that triggers explosive outbursts even at the slightest provocation. Her extraordinary strength and speed become a frightening weapon, endangering herself and those around her. Frustrated and desperate for a solution, Lindy's parents reluctantly placed her in a mental hospital. They hoped that healthcare professionals could help manage Lindy's anger and find a way out of the destructive storm that had engulfed her life. However, the reality at the mental hospital fell far short of their expectations. The staff was ill-prepared to handle the intensity of Lindy's outbursts. Her extraordinary strength and speed posed a challenge they couldn't handle. Before long, Lindy was discharged from the mental hospital, returning to a world unprepared to face her rampage. On the brink of despair, Lindy agreed to try one last experimental treatment, self-administered electroshock therapy through an electrode vest. Despite the discomfort and pain it brought, Lindy saw it as her final chance to gain control over the raging storm within her. Electroshock therapy works by disrupting electrical signals in the brain, rewiring the neural circuits responsible for Lindy's explosive anger. Slowly but surely, Lindy began to feel a change. Her outbursts became less intense, less frequent. She started to feel in control of her life for the first time. With electroshock therapy, Lindy finally managed to live a normal life. One evening, Lindy arranged a date with an accountant named Justin. However, the date turned into a disaster when Lindy lashed out at their unhelpful server, who happened to have a nut allergy and most of the menu contained nuts. Justin patiently waited for Lindy to return from the restroom, but she decided to end the date and leave Justin behind. Frustrated and desperate after her failed date with Justin, Lindy returned to Dr. Munchin, the therapist who had prescribed the electroshock vest to control her anger outbursts. Lindy was convinced that the device was malfunctioning, which was why she lost control at the restaurant. However, Dr. Munchin revealed a surprising truth: there was nothing wrong with the electroshock vest. Lindy had developed a tolerance to the electrical stimulation, and the current dosage was no longer sufficient to suppress her anger outbursts. Lindy and Justin met again, but this time in a more relaxed and comfortable atmosphere. Their conversation flowed more naturally, filled with laughter and sweet, awkward moments. Feeling more confident, Lindy decided to open up to Justin about her past. She shared her experiences as a bouncer, a job that had taught her valuable life lessons. As the night grew late, they returned to Lindy's apartment and began to engage in intimacy. Justin noticed Lindy's voltage therapy vest and the electrodes adorning her body, but he wasn't taken aback. Lindy attempted to resist removing the vest, but Justin reassured her that he didn't mind and wanted to understand her better. The next morning, Justin surprised Lindy with breakfast in bed and a gift. Lindy unwrapped it to find a camera, recalling her previous mention of her love for photography. After Lindy explained her condition and her concerns about their relationship, Justin appeared to understand and show affection. He then left for work. Filled with optimism about the future, Lindy visited Dr. Munchin to share the good news. She revealed that her theory about dating had proven successful, and she genuinely liked Justin. Dr. Munchin, pleased with Lindy's progress, insisted on delving deeper into her feelings during their therapy session. However, Lindy, eager to embrace her newfound joy in life, decided to leave and capture some photos with the new camera gifted by Justin. As the days passed, Lindy grew increasingly worried as she heard no news from Justin. She attempted to call him, but instead, a detective named Vicer Bobby Cannavale answered the phone. Filled with panic, Lindy rushed to the police station, where she encountered Detective Vicer and Detective Nance Lever Cox. With heavy hearts, they delivered the tragic news that Justin had been murdered. Lindy's heart shattered upon hearing the news of Justin's death. She replayed their time together, desperately trying to recall any clues that might lead to his demise. The next day, Lindy visited Dr. Munchin, claiming that the vest was not functioning properly. Concerned about Lindy's mental state, Dr. Munchin prescribed calming medication to help soothe her. Upon regaining consciousness, Dr. Munchin urged Lindy to let go of Justin's case and focus on healing herself. He warned her that her obsession could potentially alter her permanently. However, Lindy didn't want to give up. She called the detectives, claiming to have more details about Justin's murder. It was a deliberate tactic to lure them out of the police station so she could gain access to the evidence room in Justin's case. With newfound determination, Lindy went to Justin's apartment and found his phone. She was then called by Detective Vicer, who informed her that they had located her and Detective Nevin was on his way to apprehend her. Realizing she was trapped, Lindy quickly ended the call and attempted to escape. Nevin arrived at the apartment and engaged in a brief fight with Lindy, who managed to escape in Justin's car. Nance pursued Lindy, leading to a thrilling car chase. Fueled by adrenaline, Lindy successfully evaded Nevin and made her getaway. Lindy went to an electronics store to find someone who could help her hack Justin's phone. There, she met Andy, a female hacker who agreed to assist her. With the help of a young girl who worked at the store, they were able to identify Justin's client, Barry Caspary, a notorious gangster who was believed to be the last person to contact him. After learning that Barry was in an abandoned building overseeing an underground fight, Lindy went to confront him. She confronted Barry and demanded that he tell her who killed Justin. Barry agreed to talk on the condition that she fought against his 3 best fighters simultaneously. Despite being outnumbered, Lindy used her anger and training as a bouncer to defeat the fighters. Impressed by Lindy's determination, Barry agreed to share what he knew. However, as Lindy approached the truth, Barry attempted to kill her. Lindy managed to fight back and incapacitate Barry. She threatened him with a jumper cable, demanding to know who killed Justin. Under pressure, Barry revealed that a reclusive billionaire named Gareth Fizzle, Barry's boss, was the mastermind behind Justin's death. Fueled by anger, Lindy electrocuted Barry with the jumper cable. Motivated by the newfound information, Lindy visited Detective Visser at the hospital, where he was still recovering from his injuries sustained during the previous car chase. Lindy inquired about Gareth Fizzle, hoping to gather more information about his involvement in Justin's death. Detective Visser, who believed in Lindy and her dedication to Justin, disclosed Fizzle's whereabouts. However, Detective Nevin suddenly appeared and pursued Lindy into the maternity ward. In a desperate act, Lindy began throwing babies in Nan's direction to slow him down and make her escape. Rushing to Gareth's building, Lindy was intercepted by the head of security, Delacroix Ori Pfeffer. Delacroix swiftly rendered Lindy unconscious. When Lindy regained consciousness, she found herself bound to a chair in a white room. Delacroix, following Gareth's orders, had unleashed an electric shock vest on Lindy, threatening to kill her if she didn't cooperate. Delacroix then placed Lindy inside the car and drove her back to her apartment. Unbeknownst to Lindy, he had hidden the electric shock vest in the Fizzle building. Upon hearing that Lindy had been questioning about Justin, Gareth became alarmed. As Lindy was being driven back to her apartment, she realized that she couldn't trust Delacroix. She choked the driver, causing him to crash the car. Lindy escaped from the scene and hurried to Dr. Munchin, pleading for a new electric shock vest. Reluctantly, Dr. Munchin agreed to assist her, concerned for Lindy's safety. Lindy returned to her apartment, being cautious of possible danger. She noticed that the number 9 sign on her door had been moved, indicating that someone had entered. Carefully, she entered through her window and discovered that Fizzle's henchman had planted an explosive device on the doorstep. Using her newly discovered skills, Lindy successfully defused the bomb and pocketed it for future use. She then left the apartment and found Detective Visser waiting outside. Visser, who was starting to believe in Lindy, tried to convince her to surrender. He explained that her condition could be used as a defense and that it would be safer for her to cooperate with the authorities. However, Lindy, unwilling to give up, rejected Visser's offer. As they were talking, Lindy's apartment exploded, destroying any remaining evidence and giving Lindy a chance to escape. In a final attempt to seek justice for Justin, Lindy tried to infiltrate the Fizzle building. However, she was captured by Delacroix. Driven by emotions, Lindy attacked Delacroix and demanded to know the location of Fizzle. She explained the meaning of the word exsanguinate, to drain someone's blood, and threatened to do it to Lindy. However, Lindy managed to fight back against Delacroix and escaped. Lindy struggled past several guards, using Delacroix's finger to gain access to the Fizzle's lair. There, she discovered the shocking truth that Justin was still alive. He revealed that he had used Lindy as bait to get close to Fizzle, which he had targeted for the CIA. Justin couldn't officially touch Fizzle, so he used Lindy as a way to approach it. Justin unveiled the startling truth: Dr. Munchin had been collaborating with the CIA, using Lindy as a test subject in their experiments. The tension therapy experiment was just a cover to manipulate her emotions and turn her into a weapon. Furious at Justin's betrayal, Lindy's anger boiled over. Justin, with remote control in hand, increased the voltage further, rendering her vest ineffective. In a desperate act, Lindy hurled a bag containing a bomb towards Justin, causing it to explode as he ascended in the elevator, decimating the entire floor. Lindy then proceeded to confront Dr. Munchin in his office, ready to seek revenge. She confronted Dr. Munchin, who attempted to justify his actions, claiming that he was only trying to help Lindy. Lindy, who was overwhelmed with emotions, almost killed Dr. Munchin. But, in the last moments, she hesitated. Detective Weiser and Nevin entered the office, arresting Dr. Munchin for various crimes. Lindy returned to her apartment that was no longer inhabitable. A woman, revealed to be one of Lindy's doctors from the past, appeared. She told Lindy that by embracing her anger, she could truly become strong. The woman then pressed the voltage detonator, causing an explosion that engulfed them both.